A top gaming journalist just defended somebody who cheered a political assassination. Yeah, you heard that right. Your ears are not deceiving you. Alyssa Mercante, it's been a minute since we've talked about my Brooklyn queen, is framing a developer by the name of Drew Harrison who glorified Charlie Kirk's tragic death as a victim of harassment. Yeah, typical and on brand of Alyssa Mercante, but the internet is not having it. Now, a while back, we covered this story. Drew Harrison, who is a developer, a long-time developer at Sucker Punch, the studio behind Ghost of Tsushima and Yote, made a social media post celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And within hours, the post went absolutely viral. We talked about it on here. There was all sorts of stuff coming out there. There was threats, videos being made, articles being written, to the point where Sony's HR had to quickly step in and Harrison was terminated. No longer with the company. Can I help you with something? But instead of holding her accountable, Alyssa Mercante published this article that we're about to dive into, defending her, claiming that it's online harassment, that it caused her to lose her job because of the worst people on the internet. She painted this entire firing as moral outrage, a narrative of cancel culture months after the fact. Let's be clear, okay? This is not about politics. This isn't about left or right. It's about glorifying real world violence and trying to spin it as victimhood. And Mercante's defense isn't just bad journalism, guys. It's actively dangerous. So today we're breaking down exactly why this story matters. We're going to talk about what it means for the gaming industry. And we're going to talk about why accountability, not ideology, should always come first. So buckle up, baby. It's been a while since we talked about you, Merc. How you doing? Mercante's article frames Drew Harrison as some hero in the cultural war of ideology, right? Rather than somebody that was celebrating death. She even criticized gamers for calling out the comments. That's how triggered she was in this. Essentially, she implied that holding a person accountable for glorifying assassination is somehow immoral. Let that sink in. Oh, if you're calling out and holding somebody accountable for their comments, glorifying political violence, you're immoral. That's not reporting, guys. That's advocacy disguised as journalism. This is the same kind of behavior that people like Hassan, who she looks up to, act. This is the same level of promoting things like terrorism, violence, violent rhetoric. Yet they will say that people like you and me, the right-wing chuds, that we're the worst kind of people on the internet. And here's the part that's really insane. Mercante tried to resurrect this story, this Charlie Kirk situation, 2 months later, long after Sony and Sucker Punch already acted decisively on this. They fired Drew Harrison. That's it. End of story. This piece reads more like a defense of political violence than journalism. It literally praises Harrison for losing joy in her life because of her comments. She turned accountability into a moral outrage story, which is on brand. Let's call it what it is. This is ideological bias. If the same thing happened to somebody on the political left, Mercante would almost certainly be writing about why it was justified to remove them immediately. Hands down, her coverage of the whole situation proves that her defense isn't about fairness. It's not about facts. It's never been about that. It's about defending somebody she agrees with politically. And that's how they all are. They all are. And it's not just opinion. Her framing of this whole situation, this whole article, has consequences. By painting Harrison as a victim of harassment, or should I say harassment, Mercante implicitly condones behavior that glorifies violence. I'm going to say it right there. She can get mad all she wants. Her little simps can get mad all they want. She's telling the audience that cheering an assassination is acceptable as long as you share their ideology. That's essentially what. Go read it and look for it yourself, guys. That's a dangerous message, and it's why accountability matters more than ever in gaming. In fact, that's the word. I don't understand. This is gaming. What does this have to do with gaming? being a video game journalist, what does glorifying violence, talking about Charlie Kirk and the assassination and all this, have to do with gaming? What did Drew Harrison's comments, laughing and mocking it with that Mario and Luigi joke, have to do with gaming? Sony didn't fire Harrison because of harassment, okay? They fired her because she was cheering political violence. And cheering political violence is a career-ending moral and legal line. And accountability is something that Drew Harrison didn't have. Yet somehow Mercante is trying to twist this into a story about corporate oppression. A rare correct action by Sony, which a rare W by Sony, that fired somebody glorifying murder, and she's reframing it as injustice. And that's not just a bias, guys. That's actively misleading readers about the whole situation. If you really want a lesson here, guys, the next time a gaming journalist defends somebody for doing something outrageous online, check their whole, I guess, political lens, see where they lie politically. Mercante's not neutral here by any means. She's defending political violence based on who the target was, which in this case, somebody she didn't like, somebody that she labeled as hateful, which is Charlie Kirk. That's not reporting. That's taking sides. Okay? That's why the story blew up beyond a single firing. This story trended because people that wanted them fired were in the right. It wasn't a harassment campaign. Ask yourself and be completely honest with yourself. Would Mercante defend this if the target had been somebody she didn't agree with politically? Absolutely fucking not. That's the hypocrisy there. That's why accountability, not cancel culture, is the only thing keeping gaming from normalizing behavior that should never be acceptable. Hands down. And if you think that defending, glorifying assassinations is journalism, you're on the wrong side of this whole argument. It's time to call it out for what it is. Absolutely. Terrible fucking journalist work by Alyssa Mercante. And you know the funny thing about this is I think this might be worse than the Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what you think it does article that caused her whole harassment campaign a couple years ago. She literally was a fart in the wind. Like, nobody was paying attention to her. I think she literally, in my opinion, likes to self-sabotage. So many people in the world know what Sweet Baby Inc. is. There's so much more of a bigger culture of people that know who Charlie Kirk is and this whole situation. You're literally, like, almost purposely trying to set yourself up to be attacked. And nobody, at least on my side, wants to attack you. But you're trying to place blame on people like myself, Smash, if not whoever, as the reasons why you're attacked. And you don't think maybe the article that you're fucking writing, glorifying political violence and defending somebody that was glorifying it, might be the cause of that? Like, do not be surprised if this is not going to cause a Streisand effect towards you. Don't be surprised if this is going to encourage people to go after you or to be critical of you or whatever. I don't condone doxing or violence in any form or fashion, but quit acting surprised that just because you write and say stupid things and you think that you're immune to that criticism, that nothing's going to happen to you. Because this is absolutely the reason why so much bad things happen to you. Does it make it right? No, but I'm not here glorifying that. Like, you're glorifying Drew Harrison's behavior. That's something to think about, something to chew on. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it right there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you on the next one.